Hello and welcome to Sport on 7, 30 minutes of sport for you. And this week we take our cameras out of Dubai to see what another great sporting city has to offer. We'll be in Melbourne speaking to a Melbourne Cup winner, Glenn Boss. I'll be chatting to one of the world's best doubles tennis players, and we'll take a look at where the weekend's AFL Grand Final took place. We'll also speak to an Australian rugby legend, Steve Larkham, and Chris McCarty is here, as always. A very busy 30 minutes ahead. Hello, I'm Tom Bushell. Now, it has been a huge week with Team Oracle USA perhaps completing the biggest moment in sport as they came back from 8-1 down to beat Emirates Team New Zealand in the 34th America's Cup. We'll talk more on that with Chris in just a bit. It's also been a massive weekend in the Rugby Championship too. More on that with Steve Larkham a little bit later on. First though, Dubai and Melbourne are enjoying more and more links between the two cities. Helps with, of course, the likes of Qantas using Dubai as a hub airport. Both cities have their fair share of sport. We're all aware of the many golf, tennis, rugby and swimming events that Dubai hosts. But Melbourne has the entire calendar covered as well, with everything from the AFL to F1 in the city. I have spent the last week in the Victorian capital to speak to some of the most successful Australian sportsmen. And with Hawthorn grabbing the AFL Grand Final trophy at the weekend, I think the MCG is a good place to start. Hello and welcome to Melbourne, the city that has been voted most livable city in the world again, and also the city that boasts more sport than most cities on the planet. So over the next few minutes, let me show you some of the most impressive sporting venues in the world. And they're all here in Melbourne. We'll be here at Flemington Racecourse to talk to a jockey who has won not one, but 3 Melbourne Cups. We'll be here at the home of the Australian Open, the Rod Laver Arena, where I'll be talking to one of the most successful doubles players of all time. And we're here at the MCG, the home of the AFL Grand Final, of course. This stadium opened in 1854 and sits at number 10 on the world's biggest stadiums list. It also holds the world record for the most floodlight towers in any one stadium on the planet. The biggest attendance recorded here was 130,000 back in 1959 for the Billy Graham Crusade. There is no doubt, though, that this place is the home of AFL. Tony Shaw, a former AFL legend spending his entire career at Collingwood, has made his way to the MCG to speak to me about what this ground means to those who play here. Well, Tony, thank you so much for your time today, of course. What a venue this is. I know that, of course, lots of people in Dubai watching this as well and be hoping for a great weekend at the Grand Final here at the MCG at the weekend. But you've been to Dubai as well, haven't you? It's somewhere you know quite well.
Yes, I was in there last October, matter of fact, and had a ball. I had 4 days in there, and I'll spend a lot longer the next time I was there.
Talking of entertainment, you don't get much bigger and better places than this, do you? The MCG. Tell me, you've had so much experience of this venue. What makes it so special?
Oh, look, it's like a coliseum. Matter of fact, all these grandstands since I started playing football have been built and rebuilt again. But, you know, I've been to England, I've been to Twickenham, and I haven't been to Wembley. I know you love Wembley. But this, I think, is the greatest stadium in the world. I'm totally biased. But just the feel that you get in here, 90-odd thousand people. I played in 3 grand finals while I was playing in the AFL, 2 losing ones in 2 years in a row. And just a different feeling you get, and, you know, but 90,000 people. When you walk down that race and then they play the national anthem, you get goosebumps that you never believe. And you should too. You know, I wouldn't be sitting here now if I hadn't been a member of that Collingwood 1990 premiership side. And to walk through the crowd and people say, "G'day, Shorey," even though they're opposition sided, you feel like you're owned it a bit because you've had that success here, and that's what we play for. You know, someone say not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. Not here. Grand final day, this is for premierships, it's exactly what you play the game for.
Tony, thanks for your time today. Great to talk to you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks to Tony there for his time as always. A legend in Australia now. From one legend to another, soon after a visit to the MCG, I went up the road to the home of the Melbourne Cup. This is the home of Australia's richest horse race, the Emirates Melbourne Cup, held on the first Tuesday of every November. Plenty of great jockeyers come down this stretch of grass to lift the famous trophy, and Glenn Boss did it on 3 consecutive occasions between 2003 and 2005, and Flemington is a place he finds very special.
Well, Glenn, here we are then, of course. We haven't got that long until the Melbourne Cup. You've won it 3 times, and this is the 2013 trophy. How nice would it be to get your hands on this one again this year?
Oh, absolutely. To think that you could win 4, one Melbourne Cup's unbelievable, but to have the pleasure of winning 3 and be thought about as hopefully winning 4 would be just extraordinary.
Talk to me about those 3 consecutive wins between 2003 and 2005. Did you ever dream that such an achievement was possible?
Not really, because to win 1 Melbourne Cup, logistically it's very hard, very difficult to do. So when we won the first one with that great mare, well, we thought, well, that's, it's just a great feeling that you just got one on your mantelpiece, really, because you can ride your whole life in this race and not win one. It's a difficult race to win, but for her to come out and win 2 in a row, and then we'll sort of get into uncharted territory right there. She was starting to break records and defy anything that was thrown at her, and when she turned up for her 3rd one, it's quite amazing. It was a very eerie day for me because I'd never been so confident about a horse winning a single race in my whole career as what she was that day going into the 3rd Melbourne Cup.
Racing in the cup. The great man, Maccabi Diva, jumped away well. Maccabi Diva clear with 100 metres to go. Excellent runs to second, but a champion becomes a legend. Maccabi Diva has won it. It is the greatest Melbourne Cup win of all time.
And in terms of competing here at Flemington as well, it's such a fantastic racecourse as well. Explain to me what the atmosphere is like when this place is full with over 100,000 people watching you in action.
Yeah, listen, it's very difficult to explain if you haven't been here for it. It's one of those must-see things. It's like I can tell you, there's 120,000 people here and they're all screaming,
And with the crowd roaring, of course, adrenaline must be going. That must be what makes you stand up and get all those fines at the end of a race if you win it.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a serial offender of those, but listen, it's a great thrill, and the public pay their money to come through the gates and be entertained, and I'd like to think that I can give them something to, remember the day, even if it was me going off my horse, but going crazy. But yeah, I hope they get something out of it.
Well, we hope we see many more moments like that, and best of luck in your attempt to grab this trophy in November, of course. Glenn, thanks for your time today.
Always a pleasure, thank you.
So with Flemington, the Rod Laver Arena and the MCG, I think you will all agree that Melbourne is a great sporting capital of the world. Have a great night. So where did the Lions beat Australia then in that Test series? Oh, and so will England beat Aussies there in the Ashes? Right. Thanks, Glenn, for his time there. Now, still plenty to come on Sport on 7 this week as we take in the Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne and also speak to an Australian rugby great as well. We'll be back in just a moment on Sport on 7.